know, I've seen so many videos about pretty privilege or these pretty girls talking about how they get pretty privilege. And to be honest, you don't need to be pretty to get pretty privilege. Hey guys, it's L2, what I do because I'm back with another video. And today's another segment of spilling the tea for the girlies. So I'm about to go out, but I figured I might as well jump on here and do another video because why let a beat go to waste? And this segment is perfect for a night in the town because it's all about pretty girl privilege and how to attain it. I think anytime anyone mentions pretty girl privilege, it's usually in a bad context. Because to me, when I hear about pretty privilege, I think somebody got something because of their looks or their appearance and not because they're hardworking or they deserved it. So just to clear things up, let's start with a definition. Pretty girl privilege refers to the societal advantage or preferential treatment that individuals perceived as physically attractive may receive based on their appearance. So do we think that pretty privilege exists? Yes, it exists. This video will primarily be from my point of view. I've been told I'm pretty. Sounds so obnoxious, but just for the sake of this video, let's just deem me pretty. And so from my perspective, being young, a girl, and pretty has made my life so much easier. This really came up for me, I think during training for my new job, like fresh out of uni, like I was really just beginning to be on my city girl vibes. I used to come to work, shout out my work bestie. I used to come to work after every weekend and literally he would turn around and be like, so what'd you get in for free this week? And I always had a story, like it was the summer in Toronto, always something to do, and then we were always getting into something crazy. But it was right after I came back from Miami. If you guys haven't watched that vlog, watch the vlog. And my friend was like, you are so lucky to be a girl because you literally get everything handed to you for free. I remember telling him about how I went to Miami, gone into all these clubs, everything was free basically, only paid for food, and he was just dumbfounded. And I really had to think about it. I'm like, wow, you are right. Like, I never really thought about the fact that being pretty, a girl, and young gets you so much things for free, but you really can get the most out of it. Like, even if I'm thinking about back home, I remember one time, I rarely do my makeup. I only do my makeup if I'm going out, if I'm filming, if people are going to see me, basically. So this one day, I had to go to my grad photo. I will never forget this day because I was late. Why? Because I was dumb. I didn't get my lash extensions on. Should have had that done, but no. My lashes were not cooperating that day. I literally left my house. One eye like this, one eye like this. Like, it was just insane. And I was speeding down the road from my house. But little did I know that the cops were right around the hill where I live. I came down this hill. Obviously, it's a hill, so it makes you go even faster. The next light over was the entrance to the highway. Once I hit the entrance to the highway, another speed limit, I was going to be fine. I did not make it to the entrance of the highway. Basically, this cop caught me right before I hit the highway entrance, going 100 and a 60. Yeah, sounds bad for like Canadians. Didn't seem that bad, honestly. Like, the highway was right there. Like, once I got to the highway, I was technically fine. But this was the main street, so that was not allowed. The cop pulled me over and my heart literally stopped. I was like, what do I do? What do I say? Like, I don't even know what you do when you get pulled over. So I'm here like, wow, and I'm gonna be extra late for my grad photo now? Like, great. He pulls me over, he's like, roll in the window. I roll it down like a little bit. And I'm like, so sorry, like I have to get to my grad photo. I looked the part, like I literally looked the part. I had on my blazer, whatever. I'm like, I have to get to my grad photo. Like, I didn't even mean to speed. I was just trying to get to the highway. And he was like, you know you're stunt driving? And I was like, what? Like, I literally was like, wait, what? What does that even mean? Kidding. I know what stunt driving is, but I didn't know that if you go 40 above the speed limit, you're considered stunt driving now. This was like last year, so maybe everyone knows that now. But you're considered to be stunt driving. And once you do that, technically the cops are supposed to impound your car and get someone to come pick you up on the side of the road and get your license suspended. That was what's supposed to happen. But I will say pretty privilege prevailed, but also my dits prevailed because my cop guy was like, oh, give me your license and registration. I'm like, what is a registration? Sounds so dumb, I know. I've learned, because I just didn't think I needed to know this stuff. Clearly I needed to know that stuff for when you get pulled over in situations like this. But he was like, I'll show you. Like at that point he was like, okay, like this girl has no idea what's going on. And I was just ditzy and cute at that point. Like he was like, let me help you out. So he showed me where my registration was. I knew that everything was in the glove compartment of my car. I just didn't know what was what. So I got the registration for him. He rang it up. He's like, all right, so I reduced the ticket. I'm only gonna say you were speeding by 20 kilometers, not by the 40. So I'm not gonna impound your car and you can go and take this ticket. It would have been nice if he just didn't give me the ticket. But at that point, I was so stressed out. I was like, I cannot believe I just got a ticket. I wasn't even like 1 year with my full permit yet. Like, so yeah, my insurance was probably gonna go up. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just take it because he really did me a solid and I could still go to my grad photo. But that's just a situation where pretty privilege really did prevail. Like, if I did not look the way that I looked, or if I was a guy, you know what they would have done to me? Oh my gosh. Like, I have seen so many guys get their cars towed on the side of the road because the cops just do not care for them. But we do have to keep in mind that universal beauty does not exist. So how do you get pretty privilege if you are not pretty in the eyes of the beholder? The key is confidence. I don't know, I've seen so many videos about pretty privilege or these pretty girls talking about how they get pretty privilege. And to be honest, you don't need to be pretty to get pretty privilege. Let me say that again. You do not have to be pretty to get pretty privilege. When I tell you the key is confidence, because if you approach people with confidence, your aura alone will tell them how to treat you. I remember one of my friends was like, yeah, she has a friend who always goes out, she always jumps the line, she never waits in line because she's just so pretty. I'm like, let me see this girl. When she showed me a picture of this girl, mind you, she was pretty. But I was like expecting like a supermodel to come in front of me on her IG. I was like, this is the girl who jumps lines at all these clubs and gets in? And she's just like, yeah, she's so pretty. Again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. That girl was pretty, but I did not think she was gonna be jumping lines all over Toronto. And then it clued into me that if she's just used to jumping lines, her attitude alone will tell bouncers like, please don't mess with me, like just let me into the club. She literally got her and my friend into the club just by being stern. So, you know, one day I tried it. One time we went to this club called 44. Everyone in Toronto knows 44. Went to Club 44, has a line down the street, down King Street. We're walking through the line like, technically we're on guest list, so why are we gonna be waiting in this line? We turned to one of those scary guys at the front of 44. I don't know if they're bouncers, what they are, but they're always just scary and yelling at people to not block the street. You guys know who they are. We're like, oh, where do we line up for guests? They're just like, down there, line up at the back of the line. I was like, all right. We start walking. This line is long, like it's so long. And I'm just thinking like, why would we line up in this line if we have guest lists? Like, it's just not making sense that I need to walk all the way down King Street for this line. So I'm talking to my friends, I'm like, there's no way that we have to wait in this line. Everyone's like, okay, just go ask the bouncer if we should wait in this line. So I'm like, bet. I go over, ask this bouncer, I'm like, excuse me, we're on guest list. Do we have to wait in this line? And he's like, I don't know, go ask, let's say big boy. Then he's like, I don't know, go ask big boy. I'm like, okay, big boy at this point heard his name, so he's staring at us. I'm like, hey big boy, he said to go ask you if we have to wait in this line for guest list. He literally looks us up and down. He's like, you guys are on guest list? I'm like, yeah. He's like, take out your ID. Literally, I took out my ID. This guy pulls open the rope, puts us into the front of the line. I was like, this is crazy. Because you know what we would have done? Walked down half of King Street to wait in this long, long line. For what reason? No reason. We could have just asked somebody and they would have let us into the front of the street. Again, I do want to say I had on a bang outfit that day. Probably pretty privileged. But you don't know unless you try. If you approach people like you know what you're talking about, They will literally believe anything that you say. I live by that statement. Oh my gosh. I will tell people a lie just to be funny and they think I'm serious. Everything is just the way that you say it, just the way that you approach situations. You will be surprised how much your luck will change, or the changes in how people react to you just by the way you approach them or the way that you speak. When you're confident, like you've been here before, you know what you're doing, you know what this is all about, you'll be surprised to see how people treat you. So those are the positive sides of pretty privilege. I have also seen the negative sides. I think for a lot of girls, they can relate to the fact that when you're deemed pretty or you have pretty privilege, people do look at you like you didn't earn what you did, or that you actually are a clueless person. I don't know why, like, beauty and brains don't go together for most people. Like, they really don't go together. Maybe it's examples that they've seen in their own life, but a lot of the time people will just play you for a bozo. But that's what I'm saying. When it comes to pretty privilege, it also comes hand in hand with you having confidence, you having that set standard for how people are going to treat you, or how you're going to address people, how they should address you, and not taking it when anyone tries to play with you. And even I will say that sometimes this can go against you, because there's a lot of times where people will just think that the way that you carry yourself is because you don't have the time of day for them, you're probably cuffed, you're not single, like they won't even approach you. And I've seen so many pretty girls just grow up and just not find relationships because of this. That part, not really sure how to fix yet. I'm single myself, but when I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. But I thought I would just hop on here and address pretty privilege, because there's so many people being like, yeah, do this, get your lashes done, get your hair done, wear makeup. I really don't think that that attributes to you having pretty privilege. Sure, it probably makes things easier, probably adds to it, but overall, from what I've seen, and because the way that you look is not what everyone will like, I will say that it is definitely within and how you carry yourself. And if you have confidence, so many doors will unlock for you. That's with pretty privilege, life experience, people, relationships, a lot of things. So girlies, the goal is to be confident. But you guys know the drill. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below any video ideas you guys have for me, because I will do them. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.